And we are live, but
live from Shark Club.
Live with a different effect this time. We're live from downtown Shark Club in downtown Toronto.
Yonge and Dundas.
The heart of downtown Toronto. Live, Yonge and Dundas Square. We took the Wrap It Up podcast on the road.
Yes, we did.
That's pretty cool.
No, definitely.
Guys, how you doing? I'm here with
Shout
Mikey
out to Shark Club.
Bellamo, how you doing?
What a big night for all Toronto. I'm doing excellent. Glad to be here.
Q, how you doing, man? Q's good to be back.
I'm great. We're live from Sports City.
Yes.
Sports City.
Tonight is Sports City.
Sports City, Toronto. We are winners.
Toronto, how are you feeling, Toronto?
We are winners, Toronto.
The whole six is on a wave tonight.
We're on a wave.
It is.
The whole six is on a wave.
We're on a wave.
Leafs win, but obviously this is the Wrap It Up podcast, and your Toronto Raptors have taken a 2-1 lead.
Yep. Well
2-1 lead in their Eastern Conference quarterfinal matchup with the Orlando Magic, as the Toronto Raptors win 98-93. Again, 98-93, the Toronto Raptors win, and I mean this game. I know there's a lot of different storylines that could come out of this game, but I think right away we got to show a lot of love to Pascal Siakam.
Yes,
definitely.
Spicy P, if he needed a coming out party in the playoffs, this was it. How did Spicy P do to you, Mikey?
Today was the game of his career because of the stage he was on the road, hostile environment, and I mean, if you watch the game, guys, you saw that Kawhi wasn't really Kawhi tonight.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it didn't really matter because Pascal stepped up.
Yeah.
30 points, 11 rebounds, grabbing boards, getting and ones. Every time Orlando made a push, Siakam seemed to be the guy with the ball, and he seemed to get the bucket.
It was crazy.
He was
coming out parties.
Pascal Siakam is only the second Raptor to have a playoff game where he scored 30 points and 10-plus rebounds.
Wow.
Only the second Raptor.
Chris Bosh, the first?
I believe it was Chris Bosh.
And at 25 years old?
Right? But,
pretty good.
Third year in the league.
And so, as mentioned, Siakam finishes with 30 points on 13 of 20 shooting.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
great efficiency.
To be honest, though, the efficiency was even better than that final stat line shows.
Definitely.
Like, he was cooking early.
Hard shots.
Yeah.
It felt like it was someone always on him.
And the thing to me that was so important about this from the standpoint of Siakam through the season is he struggled against the Magic this year. He only averaged, I think, like 9 points a game against the Magic this year. And so far in the playoffs, he's come out, put that to bed, and put in mega
definitely
work.
Well, the matchup was Jonathan Isaac, right? And Jonathan Isaac has not been a factor really in this series. Right? Game one he hit
was
some
4
shots.
of 11, I think. 4 of 11.
Game one he hit some shots, but Pascal has been consistent. Game one, game two, game
on
three
both sides
has been our consistent a consistent 1-2 punch with him and Kawhi.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And today,
he looked like the Raptors' best player, and I'm not saying tonight, and I know he's not, but he had that swag of somebody who, there's always question, if Kawhi does leave, can Pascal somewhat take over? And tonight showed, I mean, if this is any inclination of it, it showed he can handle those pressures. And there's not much more pressure in a playoff game, right?
You know what's funny as you bring that up, right? Because this whole year, I'm going to be honest, I've been thinking about if Kawhi leaves, what is Pascal
What is
Siakam?
he? Yeah.
Can he be the guy? And as you bring that up, I'm going to be honest.
You thought it was a complimentary pair.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I believe that. But during the game, Q, you said something.
yes.
You were like, what happens? I'll let you say it.
My question was, and this is for everybody in Raptorland, from Pascal Siakam from last year to this year, has made big strides, right?
Huge strides.
He had the summer with Rico at the Rico Hine runs that he credited for his step up this year.
Yep.
Right? He's only in his third year, right? It's not a contract year. He's still fighting for his first legitimate NBA
and his
contract.
first year was really baby steps, right?
Yeah.
So if you really want to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like his second strong year. You know what I mean?
Right. So remember, he's not up for a contract after this summer, right?
No, yeah.
He still has another year to prove himself.
One of the best contracts in the NBA.
If he wants that big time NBA money.
Yeah.
So if he goes into the summer with the same attitude that he went into this past summer, and what can he come back to be?
Yep.
What could Pascal Siakam be with another summer of
Yeah.
Now,
Right?
we could play devil's advocate in saying having a player of Kawhi's stature opens the floor a bit for him. Granted, it does.
Yeah.
But the difference, what I see, is the ball handling. He's not scared. He drives.
Yep.
And that corner three,
Yeah.
he's starting
and it's
to drain it even
and
more.
more to that point though is he still plays with that second unit.
Yeah.
And in that second unit,
Which
he
he
is our
leads.
best player.
Yeah.
And he still gets the ball and he still produces.
You know one thing that's super crazy. So we aired a Pascal Siakam sit down with Michael Grange on show I work on, Tim and Sid, a couple days ago.
Yep.
One thing I thought that was super interesting that Siakam said in that, he shouted out about how dope Kyle Lowry's been for his career in the sense that he goes, when Casey was there, DeMar and Kyle were the only ones allowed to like dribble the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
And Kyle went to Casey and was like, hey, let him dribble.
Yeah.
And I know that
Can I
sounds
get
so
some?
ridiculous, right? But at the same time, like, yo, you see where he's at now. And if that doesn't happen from last season, just dropping those little eggs, right? Like dropping those little seeds in the basket, where does Siakam go now? And it's crazy because, let's be serious, there's word that trickles out as we were setting up. One of the guys here said that Kawhi was under the weather.
Kawhi was under weather, so Nick Nurse came out after the game. I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, but I don't know the quotes, but he has been under the weather for the last 2 days, and it showed in the first quarter. I think he was 1 of 7 or 2 of 8, and you could tell it wasn't the same Kawhi, right?
So I got it here. So Nick Nurse revealed that Kawhi had not practiced the past 2 days due to illness and basically gutted out Friday night to give the Raptors 37 minutes. So
37 minutes.
Yeah.
Now think about that though. Sorry. But gripe after game one, right?
Yeah.
How is Kawhi only playing 33 minutes?
Yeah.
And now he's
Sick.
sick and playing 37 minutes.
and up by 15 sometimes, comfortably, where you
Exactly.
could have maybe gave him a minute or two, right?
And he came out balling.
yeah.
I think he came out
The
balling.
second half, he played
right?
better.
Yeah.
How funny is that, though, right? Like, you're just seeing where this Raptors team is right now, and to have a situation where Kawhi comes out, guts it out. And it was funny because Kawhi started out, 1 for 7? I think I had it
1
written
for
down.
7,
Yep.
2 of
And
8.
the thing that I wrote down was, in the first 2 games, Kawhi was super aggressive, driving to the basket,
Right.
getting into the lane
Hitting
and hitting those
everything.
little mini jumpers in
Yeah.
the paint. And this game, he was kind of settling, and I found that weird. So it's interesting to now hear, okay, it makes sense. Because he was cooking the first 2 games.
Oh, yeah.
And if this is a sick game for Kawhi, right, where somehow he still finishes with 16 points, he was only 5 of 19, but still gives you 10
Got to the line
rebounds. in
7
this game,
times, most on the Raptors.
right? Still gives you 10
Went to
rebounds,
the line
4
7
assists.
times, but probably should have went 17 times.
Yeah.
Kawhi is getting those Toronto Raptor calls. He's not getting
it's
NBA
crazy.
superstar calls.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And I think we still have that issue
Yeah.
where it seems like no matter who we put on the floor,
Yeah.
the Raptors do not get those calls.
And against an Orlando team, didn't really have a star player or the respect yet. Hasn't been to the playoffs since I think 2012.
Yeah.
You're not like you're facing a Boston or a Lakers team or anyone with the history behind it really like that, right?
Right.
So if we're not getting the calls against a team that's on the fringe, I hope, or I don't see it getting really much better once you start to go further, maybe play a Boston.
Yeah.
But I think Kawhi, because he's not that player who lets the refs affect him. He starts a little bit more vocal, throwing
he'll
his
say
hands up like,
something,
how do I not get those calls? But he fights through it.
Yeah.
He
Now,
does.
if we had some, not to mention no names, but some other NBA superstars who, when they don't get a call, it affects them, and they start crying to
Yeah,
the refs
it's
at
true.
every play,
Yeah.
it might actually be an issue. But
Yeah.
Kawhi fights through it. So that's what I like about him.
I'm going to get through a little bit of pleasantries. Again, I'm going to thank the people at Shark Club for having us out tonight.
Absolutely.
Shout out to
Definitely.
Shark Club
Great
as this
food.
episode to wrap it up is brought to you by Shark Club in the heart of downtown Toronto. Come through, check their Appy Hour menu.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great place to watch the game, especially on a night like this in the
Oh,
Toronto.
the
Raptor-
Where,
crowd was lit here.
Raptor fans, if you want to go to a bar
Yes.
and watch a game, this is the place to be.
Yeah, guys,
because
so-
this is the one place in the city. I know exactly what you're going to say.
We had the Leafs and the Raptors on, obviously, but the Raptors sound was on here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on majority of the TVs, and it was a great atmosphere.
do you know what the thing is, too, that I found was, like, very interesting in Toronto, they actually listened to their customers that were in the bar.
Yeah.
So in the bar, people were booking reservations and whatever, but at the same time, they listened to the people who said, hey, I want to watch the Raptor game.
Yeah.
And book those reservations.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? As you book the reservation, hey, what is it that you're coming to watch? What do you want to watch?
Yep.
And when you say Raptors, the majority of the people here want to watch the Raptors.
Yeah.
There's the audio.
Big Raptor crowd
hey,
here.
When the Leafs were doing stuff, they
were
switched
still
to the
cheering.
Leaf. It was just a great place to watch a game.
Yeah, it was.
So
Definitely.
huge shouts to Shark Club. Thanks
Yes.
for having us for sure. And again, people.
Shark Club TOR. If you guys want to add them on Instagram, for people on Instagram, check out their stuff. It's good here for sports, guys. It's
And
really good.
definitely make sure come through again. Check out the Appy Hour menu. Big things here at Shark Club. And thanks for having us on the On Blast. Wrap it up. Raps post-game show.
Definitely.
Because you know what? This was such a good game. And I can't say that I was nervous about the Raptors coming into this game.
No.
And again, I probably should shout out the people that are tuning in live. Shout to the people that are always here live. Because we
Yes.
got our regulars.
Yep.
And then we got the people that are jumping on late. And we appreciate all the fans. But huge shout at Shell Alexander on Twitter. And then the same people tuning in on Instagram, giving us your questions and comments on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. And of course, the podcast then becomes something that you can find on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and of course YouTube. Like and subscribe there. The community is huge.
Yes.
The comments are huge.
Yes.
We read them. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the love just as much as we appreciated the game from the Toronto Raptors. And we talked about Kawhi. We talked about Pascal. But there's another dude, Kyle Lowry. Now, 4 for 10 from Kyle Lowry.
Big game.
Gave you 12 points, 10 assists.
10 assists.
What did you make of Kyle Lowry's game? Huge talking point so far, just because of his very poor first game. What did you think of Kyle Lowry tonight?
Listen, I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to say the same thing I said last game. When you get this kind of Kyle, you said it, Sheldon, we don't need him to come out and score 20, 25 points anymore. This isn't the Kyle the Raptors of yesteryear. We need 10 points, but most of all, we need the energy, the charges, and the big thing was the assist. He made the ball movement much better. When you watch the game, Orlando's ball movement, Toronto's ball movement is much better. Always finding Danny Green open in that. And Kyle did what Kyle does, just energized.
Yeah.
Kyle, again, Kyle is the leader of this team, right? He's been here. He's been through the ropes with this city, with this team.
Yeah.
What I liked, and this is a shout to the coach, Nick Nurse, is so he went with the second unit in the second quarter.
Yep.
And Orlando made a comeback,
They did.
right? When the second unit came on in the second half, they left Kyle on. That allowed Fred to play off the ball. That allowed Kyle to have the pick and roll action with Serge, get Serge involved. That also let Kyle, and then you spoke about it before, about how he's allowing Pascal to take the reins, right? Kyle brings up the ball, passes the ball to Pascal on the wing, and let Pascal cook.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And the second unit works so much better with Kyle on the floor.
Totally.
And hey, guys, you know what we haven't mentioned in a while? Kyle's back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
40
definitely.
minutes tonight,
Yeah.
driving, taking charges.
Yeah.
No one's talking about his wonky back
And his
anymore,
defense.
right?
And his defense.
Do you know what?
Right?
I feel like because the way we talk about this consistently, right? But the way that he can now pick his spots more, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to, as you said, go out and score 20
He's
points
the
a night.
complimentary. He's complimentary.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So it's not as much wear and tear as we've seen
Yeah.
on Kyle Lowry
Yes,
normally.
years before.
Yeah. And so you get this Kyle Lowry where, hey, what did we say after the game one when Kyle Lowry scored 0 points? I said, if Kyle scores 10, cool. Tonight he had 12 points.
Well,
It's all the
points.
little
But they're
intangibles he
timely
does.
shots. He
Yes.
makes timely buckets.
Yes.
They might look. Sometimes he takes that fast break, pull up 3-pointer.
No, and I'm okay with
But
that.
those are the shots that Kyle makes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
But he's diving for loose balls.
Yep.
He's getting those nasty plays, right?
Definitely.
He's all heart. And
Yeah.
that will never change.
And what I was saying about his defense is, if you remember who killed us in the game one,
DJ
was
August.
DJ Augustine. And he's been a no-show. He
Yeah.
has been a no-show
He's been a
these
no-show.
last 2 games.
Past 2 games.
One thing to the people in Instagram, someone saying that you can't really hear Q on the Instagram feed. The reason is the mics are all hooked up to the Twitter feed. So if you're having trouble hearing fully on the Instagram feed, go over to Twitter at Sheldon Alexander. The Instagram feed is really just for you guys to give me comments. We can read and interact that way.
Yep. Guys, the Twitter
can
feed
hear
is
that.
at Shell Alexander.
Is that what I said?
No, you said Sheldon. It's SHEL Alexander.
Exactly.
If you want to go to Twitter, you don't even need to have Twitter. Go to Twitter.
Yeah.
Go in the search tool at SHEL Alexander.
Yeah.
And you can see the whole Periscope. You can see mine and Q's pretty
Exactly.
faces.
Apologies, because
And the background, which is a great atmosphere, too.
yeah, and hey, Instagram, you know I completely apologize all the time that you guys only have to look at my ugly mug.
Yeah.
Because that's not why this whole thing was designed, right? But, hey, shout to the people on Instagram. You know what? Since
Let's
I'm
see
here,
some
let me get some
comments.
comments, because shout to the people tuning in. Shout to my guy Skip at Clean Cuts, who says amazing game.
Tell
Shout
him
to
that I
Clean
sent
Cuts,
ya.
took care of me today. And as a side note, when I walked in, they said someone walked into the barber shop with their son and said, hey, Sheldon told me to come out.
Yeah.
He told me to come here, and they didn't. One of the girls working there was like, "Huh?" And then he's like, "The podcast." Hey,
It's
Raptor
working
Army is strong.
good. Yep.
We appreciate the followers.
Totally appreciate the love.
guys.
Really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Huge
Later,
shout
Greg.
to Greg
Huge
and
shout-
Kate
huge
hooking us
shouts
up
to
with this
Greg.
setup here. Totally appreciate it. But let's get to some more comments here. Someone says Kawhi had an off night. So did Kyle. In my humble opinion. Sorry.
Yep.
Maybe, am I hungry? Is that what just happened there?
Yeah.
But Kawhi had an
For
off
Appy
night.
Hour?
So did Kyle, in my humble opinion, in terms of points. And Siakam picks up the team. Wow.
Yep.
Great
And
to
that's good
see.
to see.
Yeah.
You win a game, and then you can look at little stuff like that and be like, we're not going to have games like this where both Kyle, like the commenter said, Kyle and Kawhi aren't playing as well.
Yeah.
So it was good to see that Siakam can do that.
Yeah. So here's a comment here that says, Nurse is a good coach with a thumbs up. And it's interesting because after Nick Nurse kind of, we were all questioning Nick Nurse with Kawhi Leonard's minutes after
Right.
game one. But since then, Nurse has done a pretty good job, no?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a sign of a good rookie coach is
Yeah.
you make adjustments.
Yeah.
Right? He's not a coach that's been coaching for 10, 15, 20 years, where he's stuck in his ways. This is what's worked for me back in 86, and that's what I'm going to ride with.
Yep.
He makes adjustments from game to game, right?
And he's got a
based
great-
on what,
great
based
staff,
on what
too.
he's got, right? And those adjustments seem to work.
Yeah.
They always seem to work.
He's calling timeouts in the
stop
playoffs
runs.
at the right opportune time, and that's the big thing, is to know when you see your team maybe making something you don't like, call that timeout, kill the momentum, and make an adjustment.
And there were a couple times where, of all people, your man's T. Ross was making a run.
Yeah.
Right?
T. Ross.
T. Ross has played well in this series so far. Tonight, Terrence Ross with 24 points in this game on 8 of 17 shooting. But he was kind of a one-man army for certain points of this game where he was keeping Orlando in the game, hitting big-time shots.
You remember he hit the half-court shot, too.
He did, to keep the game close at half,
Yep.
going to the buzzer. But what do you make of Terrence Ross in terms of being someone who you watched as a Raptor fan, but now seeing him in the playoffs, playing at a high level, and being a good contributor? What's that like as a Raps fan to see that now?
I mean, besides the fact he's playing for the opposite team against us, I mean, I'm happy for him. He was a great Raptor. He's playing well. His shots fallen. Again, I said last game, maybe we're not making him a priority. Nothing against him again. He's playing well, but another thing that we also talked about is we traded Terrence Ross for Serge Ibaka. So Serge Ibaka playing well for us too. I mean, it's good. You always want, I said this before, you always want trades to work out for both teams because then you can deal with that team again.
Definitely,
So it's good to see both sides happy with both players.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with T. Ross is with that, we were talking about this earlier as well. With that Orlando team, especially coming off the bench, he is the go-to guy off the bench.
Now.
He is the only guy that's going to score. So T. Ross is an athletic player. He's very streaky. There are those games where he's going to put in work. But with T. Ross putting in work, the other guys aren't really doing much. The Jonathan Isaacs aren't really doing too much.
No.
Right?
Vucevic played well second
the
half.
Vucevic, the Michael Carter-Williams is not really doing too much, right? So, if you letting T. Ross, not letting him, but T-Ross getting 20, 25 points and the Raptors still winning the way they did is a good sign.
Yeah.
Totally.
Very good sign.
Because after Orlando won Game 1, I remember there were people in the chat that were Magic fans on YouTube, I think it was.
Yes.
And they were saying
That
Orlando
one
won
fan.
game, but they're saying Orlando won Game 1 and Vucevic and T. Ross
Didn't
even
play
play
well, yeah.
Well, you look at this game tonight. We
They
mentioned
played
T.
well.
Ross with 24 points. Vucevic had his first good game of the entire series.
Definitely.
With 22 and 14 and 6 assists in this game.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see him finally get going, but let's be serious. I think he got going because Marc Gasol was in foul trouble for most of the game, no?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Am I right there, or what do you think? Like, the
mean,
job
yeah,
Marc Gasol...
He hit a couple big shots, Vucevic, but he wasn't really much of a factor in the first half.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the second half was kind of turby. 15-point lead, down to 3.
Yeah.
Back to 12, down to 3. And in between, I mean, Vucevic was one of the only Magic players kind of getting them points.
Yeah. I think this series, though, Raptors fans are getting kind of like the education of how Marc Gasol and players like him, because even like Kyle Lowry's kind of the same thing, where their effect of the game doesn't show up in the box score, right? But you look at Vucevic and the effect that Gasol's had on Vucevic, that's definitely showed up. I think it was Josh Lewenberg that tweeted this earlier, but he said coming into this game, Vucevic had 17 points on 6 of 21 shooting, 5 turnovers to 6 assists.
And then Gasol had 4 steals this game, too.
Again, after having 4 steals in the last game.
Yeah.
That's your center
Yeah.
getting
All
mad
stars.
steals.
And I think the thing here with we match up well against that. So if you remember beginning of the year, we talked about our two-headed center tandem, right?
Yeah.
With JV
and
Ibaka. So even going up against the Embiids and those, right? Them put together equals an Embiid.
Yeah.
Right? Where
Yeah.
you see in this game, Vucevic finally came alive, had 22 and was it
14.
22 and
14 boards, yeah.
But our centers, I think, was
Serge
16
Ibaka, yeah. So 15 points for them.
and 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
So it's keeping it
But
close.
Siakam
right?
would grab 11 boards as well, right?
Exactly.
Kawhi
But I mean,
had 10.
if you can, with Vucevic being their center, if Marcus and Ibaka combined can keep that close, there's no way they can match up with Pascal and Kawhi. There's no way Orlando can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all you gotta do is keep that competition at the center close, and Toronto wins.
Another thing, too, I'm not a big, firm believer of momentum, but I think Orlando's momentum might have got crushed just a bit because the series was tied. Orlando took a 1-point lead at a couple times at 1 point late in the game, and they could have the series lead. But when the Raptors came back and crushed that dream, now it's an uphill battle for a young team that hasn't really been in this situation before, right? And so I think this was a big game that the Raptors got, especially with Kawhi playing, because now they got the first lead in the series.
Yeah.
Orlando lost home court advantage that they had,
Yep.
and they're a young team.
Yeah. This is funny. There's a comment here on Instagram. Someone says, "I was bored watching this game. Felt like a regular season game."
Yeah, it kind of did.
Do you know what's weird about that? The whole time watching this game, it kind of did feel weird because seeing the Orlando Magic court,
Yeah.
it didn't make me think of the playoffs.
I think Nav
It
Badia,
was
our
weird to
super
me,
fan,
yeah.
was
I mean,
the loudest guy there.
Just Orlando, period, is
Yeah.
right. It's
Disney
you're going
World.
back to Shaq and Penny days, right?
Yeah.
Before they were
I mean,
actually.
Dwight Howard took them to the finals,
Yeah,
but
but it's
no one
Dwight
really
Howard.
believed in that team,
never.
really. It's Dwight Howard. Yeah. Let's see. Someone says on Instagram, Tony Brothers couldn't save the Magic tonight.
No.
Alex says, once Pascal gets a pull-up jump shot, it's over.
And that's what we were
His
saying.
baby hook was good tonight.
If Pascal comes back after the summer, working on his shot, and he's now, a 40% shooter, right?
Yo, his
You
three-point shot's
can't
pretty
stop
damn
it.
good, man.
It is. It is.
It is. Another comment here. Len on Instagram says, Pascal's a star has been born, but also got to give props to his teammates and coach for trusting in the young buck.
Definitely.
That part is totally true.
Definitely.
And I remember watching I know I bring up the Danny Green podcast a lot, but it's a really good watch, and especially because you get to see the rapport that he's built with this team.
with this team
And the one with
in
him
a
and
quick
Kyle,
year, yeah.
Oh, yeah. the one with him and Kyle, they were talking about the season that Siakam's had so far. And Danny Green was like, honestly, like, I didn't really know who he was coming into this season. Like, I knew his name, but I didn't really know who he was. And so to watch, like, this guy that I'm like, oh, okay, and see it on a daily basis, it's crazy.
And it seems like he's getting a little bit better and better each game, just a bit. Tonight was the blow-up, really, again, because it was a playoff game and because Kawhi was hurt. But, yeah, it seemed like every game throughout the season, you just see a little bit more from – he'd surprise you with something else.
Yeah. And to follow up that point, DVAD59 says, Kawhi found the open man through heavy traffic. That kind of fits in because Kawhi, we've seen it throughout every game as the season has gone on right?
Yeah.
We've seen Kawhi Leonard have more trust in his teammates, but also in Pascal.
Yeah.
Early on, we talked about it a lot
definitely.
in the season. We talked about Kawhi and Pascal both looking off each other
Finding
at certain
chemistry,
moments, right?
yeah.
And now you see that chemistry where there's a definite trust. Kawhi kicking it out to Pascal late in the shot clock. Pascal knocking down threes.
Yeah.
It's crazy to
And
see.
you even see the odd Kawhi fist pump after Pascal makes a good play, which you weren't seeing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Another comment. Someone says Pascal's work ethic. He would bust out at that jumper and fade jumpers into next season. Almost hoping for the same thing you were saying
Definitely.
here, Q. Right? Someone says my first time on the live broadcast. Shout out to Kat Libby. Crazy to watch Vucevic light up when Gasol was taken out.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the two-headed monster. That's the benefit the Raptors have this season.
Definitely.
And Joel Embiid news.
Yes.
Joel Embiid's going to miss his second straight game in the season. And I know we shouldn't be doing this, but as we kind of look ahead to what the next round matchup would be, Joel Embiid hobbled against the two-headed monster Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. Dare I say advantage Raptors if Embiid's hobbled? No?
Embiid already
definitely.
takes too many threes.
Webby might get mad at me for that.
Sorry, Webby. Embiid already takes too many threes. Doris Burke will attest to that.
Yep.
But now you give him a bum knee. You know he's going to play, but he'll have a bum knee. He won't be able to drive and all that, so he's going to stay behind the arc.
Yeah.
Give him all the threes he wants. Ben Simmons has no shot. And again, I know you said we're looking ahead, but, I mean, that's got to favor the Raptors, no?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree.
I mean,
they need Embiid to be like Shaq and go for 40 and 20s.
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
playoffs.
And that's where Gasol likes to play.
I think we're looking way ahead because that series over there is only 2-1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think by any stretch, especially with Embiid out, I don't think Brooklyn's out of it.
Yeah.
I also find it funny, too, because I think this is a bad look on Philly. The fact that they're beefing down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's way too much trash talk going on between, like, Jared Dudley and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Embiid laughing after the elbow.
Yeah.
Like, beefing down to me is so whack in the NBA. Like, they shouldn't even be worried about talking trash or talking smack to the Nets. You're supposed to dummy the Nets. You're trying to get to the finals.
The Nets are a young team. I said a spunky young team. And then it seems like Philadelphia has been in this game for the whole season, going back and forth with other teams and be doing it. So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I think there's too much personality on that team, I think.
Yeah.
Between Jimmy, Embiid.
Jimmy's actually been okay.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be more destructive, but
Yeah.
I mean, Tobias Harris really hasn't done much. Because
No.
remember when he got traded there?
Yeah.
We thought that might have been the Eastern Conference champions for a moment, right?
Because on paper, that lineup looks legit.
Guys,
But-
it
but
does
there's-
stuff.
but, you know,
they
the-
don't mesh always.
The problem with that team is there's no true point guard to help distribute the ball. Now, if they had like a Kyle to say, okay, this is Embiid's turn. Okay, Butler, you're on today. Today's your game, right? A point guard.
yeah, like a Rajon Rondo or something like that.
who distributes the ball, but is also a leader that can kind of calm the That's what they're missing. I don't think they have the cap space to figure that out anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that's what that team is missing. But yeah, let's
We'll dive all that into the
let's
second
worry about
round.
them in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Let's get back to the Raps game here for a sec because I agree with you. It's easy to like peek ahead, but you don't want to get too far.
Yeah, it was
ahead
a
of
little
ourselves.
too close for comfort at some points with tonight's game.
Yeah, this was a
we were
close
up
game.
by 6 with about a minute left.
Yeah.
Then I think down by 3. And It was so hectic in here, guys, with the Leafs and everything. Excuse me if we don't remember everything, because they all simultaneously were finishing both games. But I think Kawhi might have got to the free throw line and iced it.
As you
but it
mentioned,
was closer than it could have been.
Hey, let's be serious. It was a really good Friday in Toronto.
Was.
Definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
The whole 6 on a wave, right?
Yeah.
Didn't even matter what jersey Drake was wearing tonight,
I was
right?
just gonna say that.
Yeah. You know what? I think. You know what? Shout out to the Orlando Magic. I think they're a young team. No, you know why? You know why? Because they're a very young team, right? And they were down. I believe it was 16.
They were down by like
16
16 right? Late in the
And you think
fourth.
at that point, especially with Kawhi not having a big game, you think that they would just say like, okay, let's come back next game. They never get down on themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They have a good system. They're obviously coached well.
Post-game quotes are starting to trickle out of the locker room.
Nice. Let's hear it.
Shouts to my guy Josh Lewinberg. Again, if you're a Raptors fan, especially now that it's the playoffs, go to Twitter and follow my man JLou1050 at JLou1050. He's a beat writer covers the team for TSN. Great dude, knows his ins and outs, got the game covered. But quotes starting to trickle out of the Raptors locker room. And as mentioned, this is from Josh's Twitter account. Nurse revealed Leonard's been under the weather. How's he feeling? Kawhi says, quote, I feel great. We won. It's the playoffs, and we want to come out and win the game. That's all I'm thinking about. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. Was there ever any doubt that he would play?
No.
Kawhi says no. For all those people still wondering about load
And guys, he
management,
played a
I guess.
career high. No, sorry, not career high.
Career Raptor
A career Raptor high, yeah. 37 minutes, right?
So
I think he was fine.
Kawhi also said, I missed a couple easy ones that I could have made. Obviously, they sent more and trapped earlier tonight. But other than that, we came out with the win. That's what I'm happy about.
And now that Siakam does have a game like that, maybe that double or triple team that Kawhi was getting, he was right, might go down to maybe single coverage because Siakam's a problem.
Yeah.
Clearly, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned how crazy the game was down the stretch.
Yeah.
And Kyle Lowry coming up with a monster rebound to seal the game late.
Yes.
Lots of talk coming out of that afterwards.
That's what happened.
Marc
I remember
Gasol
now.
says on Kyle Lowry's rebound, talk about that rebound. That was the game. That's Kyle. And that has nothing to do with scoring. He stuck his nose in there. He ran through that ball. He got the rebound. He won the game for us.
Nice.
It's so funny, the narrative and how quickly narratives switch from one game to the next, because we talked about Kyle Lowry getting 0 points and how unacceptable that was.
Yeah.
But on this team, they need him to do those things, right?
Definitely.
Get those key clutch rebounds. Kyle Lowry, the pit bull, what does he mean to this team in terms of how far they can go, Mike?
Again, I said it last game. Because he's the complementary to the complementary, now it's huge. And I said this also that, yeah, JV was putting up great numbers, but the little stuff that Gasol does that you don't see is what you need on a team in the playoffs. And the little stuff that Kyle does, the taking the charges, the 10 assists, the grabbing the big rebounds, whatever he says in the huddle, all those little stuffs to add to a quick agility, young Siakam, and then one of the best players in the league, Kawhi, and a good bench and all that. It just fits perfectly. And and that's what you want, and that's what Kyle's giving you, is his energy and little stuff like that.
I'm laughing because I just saw a tweet from Skip Bayless that says, I'm starting to think Pascal Siakam is Toronto's best player.
Yep.
But that's all based on his hate for Kawhi
Kawhi,
Leonard.
yeah.
Of course.
The Spurs.
But you know what?
But
You know what?
rolling at the highest level.
We'll
But,
take it. He's talking to us. We'll take that.
You know what? Another thing I want to say about Marc Gasol, the importance to the team off the court, is comments like that. So Kyle has always been the leader, the elder statesman of the team. But when Kyle gets down and has a game like he did game one, who did Kyle look for support? So I think now that you have another guy,
Gasol knows how
another
to
proven,
deflect
another
attention off of
exactly,
someone.
another proven veteran who is an all-star himself,
Or
right?
deflect attention to you.
Right?
Yeah.
Who can say, good job, Kyle. Give Kyle a pat on the back. I think that because we all know Kyle is hard on himself.
Also,
right?
too, when you talk about Gasol, guys, I don't know if you know, but Woj, I believe, came out today and said that he found out Kemba Walker of the Charlotte Hornets was so distraught at the trade deadline because there was a deal for Gasol to go to Charlotte. It didn't happen. He came to the Raptors, and Kemba Walker wanted Gasol bad. Why? Because he knows that he's the type of player that you need if you want to make the playoffs and go far.
It's vet.
Yeah.
It's a veteran
Right?
leadership. It's
Definitely.
grown-ups,
And
right?
I sent that to you.
Yeah.
Because I knew you would appreciate that.
Yeah. No,
it's the little
totally.
things. Yeah, it's the vet stuff.
On the flip side, the Raptors bench to me, you touched on it a bit earlier. The Raptors bench to me, there still seems to be a problem. Like, we haven't really seen
Fred.
consistency from, Fred played okay
Norm.
in this game, no? Fred had what?
They didn't
in this
really
game? He only had 4
minutes.
points in this game.
Yeah.
Norm wasn't really that good either. He was okay. But I think overall, I still don't know if going forward, as the stakes get higher, if you say, hey, a game against the Sixers or even
Boston.
in the conference finals, I don't know if you can continue to be playing Norm and Fred VanVleet together. That unit just doesn't seem to have it.
Fred more than Norm, I think, because I don't want to jinx it, guys. I'm knocking on wood, but Kyle, if we go to a finals or a conference finals or finals, that's a lot of games, and you got to give a little bit of rest to Kyle. Fred's shot is so off, but hopefully he can do more stuff. And then all you need from Norm is what Norm has done consistently
plays.
year in year. Just one game.
Hustle
One
plays.
game when you need, and he'll give you 13, 14 points.
And hustle plays.
That's it.
But I think we're in the playoffs, and I remember in the first playoffs, you made a good point. Was
I'll take it.
what Ty Lue was doing
Okay.
when the
Yes.
Raptors were going to the bench mob, right? Remember Raptors bench
Yeah.
last year, including Siakam, including DeLon, right? We're just running through the
Hurdle,
competition. What Tyronn Lue was doing was leaving LeBron in there,
Yeah.
and that was stifling the benches,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think this year,
Yeah.
right, we got to cut that down. There's not a full unit that you're going to put out there.
Yeah.
So you throw them out there, but you're throwing them out there with a much improved Pascal Siakam, and you're throwing them out there with a leader in Kyle Lowry. Or even sometimes you'll leave Danny Green in there to calm them down.
Danny Green
Right?
played. We haven't talked about him. He played well today too.
Another grown-up.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
You don't got to worry about Danny Green. I mentioned it earlier in the game when we were
You're
watching.
shocked if he misses.
Yeah. But I literally expect every Danny Green shot to go in.
And
That's
they
so unfair.
usually almost do.
But
Except
you know
he
what?
had 0 points the game before, though.
But
right?
you know what?
I know.
It's because he's not going to go 7 of 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He only shoots
5
good
or 6.
shots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're very good shots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he might have that odd game where his shot is
He's a
off,
catch and shoot guy,
right?
really.
But then he's 0 for 7.
Yeah.
Right? He's not 0 for 15 and hurting your team.
Yeah, totally. Sticking with the bench here, and I totally agree with this comment, but Len says, can we also talk about Fred VanVleet's over-dribbling? I might get an aneurysm watching him dribble the air out of the ball. Guys, wasn't I saying the exact,
said the exact same thing.
And I think the problem is, watching the way that our first unit works now,
Right.
with Marc Gasol and the ball movement being so crispy, being so nice, everyone passing the ball, that Fred and Norm come in the game and it turns into ISO ball where it's
Fast
Fred
breaks
takes a
and-
turn,
yeah.
but it's basically Fred ISO, next time down the floor, Norm ISO,
Yeah.
next time down the floor, Siakam ISO. It sticks out so much in comparison to how now the starters are playing, which is all crisp ball movement.
I think it's because they don't trust the other guys in that unit right now. Whether it's Jeremy Lin, whether it's we got Meeks playing right now. Right?
Also, what it is, too, is, and I said this because, so we were up, I think, maybe 9 or 10, and I said, there's about 10 minutes left in the fourth. I said, guys, try to kill the shot clock down as much as you can. And Norm was getting the ball, driving in and shooting with 20, 21 seconds left on the shot clock. And so what I said to you was, it looks like a guy who's not getting that many minutes and wanting to do too much to prove to the coach, play me more. When all he had to do was, it was sort of a fast break, dribble the ball, step back, and set up. Kill some clock. And that's what you mean. So they go to ISO with Fred. They go to ISO with Norm because they're trying to do too much when all they got to be doing is, like you said, spreading the ball around and just showing that they're respected as a unit.
You know what else, too? I think what happens sometimes with young guys in the league, they get in the game, and if I haven't shot in a while, and then I get the ball, I got to shoot. And especially if I'm coming off the bench now,
Yep.
You see the offense because with Gasol, with that first unit, it's pass, 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 pass. Whoever has the best shot,
Unselfish.
they're taking it. When you see the other unit come in, they get the ball and they're thinking. They're dribbling, thinking what to do. What am I going to do?
Yep.
Whereas how many times do you see Kawhi or Gasol get the ball and it's a quick touch pass because they know already.
Yeah.
They're reading and reacting to what the defense is doing.
They know they'll get the ball back.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think also the team is a little different than it was last year. When the bench mob came in last year, they had to get the lead, so they had to shoot. Whereas now they're just trying to maintain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Give the starters a breather. Maintain.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a different mindset that they have to have coming into the game.
Yeah. Here's a great comment from Instagram. Jet Set Stone says, T. Ross should have had all of Fournier's minutes. We got lucky that the Magic were poorly coached. I'm not going to say they're poorly coached. I'm not going to say that. But what that comment does highlight is that Evan Fournier in this game was 1 for 12.
Wow.
Yep.
That was their
7
big
points in this
three-point
game.
shooter coming into the series, right?
And if you look at the plus minus, T. Ross was a plus 9.
Yeah.
Right. Evan Fournier was a minus 9.
yeah.
So.
Right? 1 for 12. That is horrible.
But I also think
That's a testament to Kawhi and Danny Green.
it's
to
Danny
me.
Green. I think it's Danny Green, right? Fournier can't do nothing against Danny Green.
Or Kawhi. Right?
Right.
'Cause, I mean,
1 of
ever
8
since
from
they
3.
switched, ever since they switched and put Danny Green on Augustine only had 7 points in this game as well.
Yep.
Augustine, since his game, he's done nothing.
Exactly.
The
Defensive
Raptors'
specialist.
defense. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy what the Toronto Raptors have done so far in this series. Again, for those just tuning in late, as the reason I'm saying that, because people keep tuning in on Twitter feed is still going super nice.
And guys, I heard I didn't see it, but I did hear a little rumor. Did LeBron tweet he's not in the East anymore? Watch out for the Raptors.
I don't know, but we can look that
I
up.
didn't
for
hear
sure.
that.
I thought I heard something like that. So
But while I look that up, I will mention that the Raptors won this game 98-93 to take a 2-1 lead
Yes.
in this playoff series, against the Orlando Magic. Pascal Siakam, as he finished with 30 points, add in 11 rebounds, add in 4 assists.
back-to-back double-double.
People are happy to see T. Ross doing well. Alex says, good for T. Ross. He's a good guy. He's found more consistency to his game. Of course, we want to beat him, but can't be mad at the dude.
Nope.
Definitely.
That's fair.
He's another guy who never had a problem in Toronto. I think he was a little upset to leave as well when he left, right? So it's good to see that he's found a spot in the league.
Salute, Big Foots. I see you in the
Foots.
Instagram. Foots, what's up? He says, big look, fellas. You know, we trying to do some stuff over here on this side. Again, huge shout out to Shark Club as we are live at Shark Club at Yonge and Dundas Square in downtown Toronto. And it was a perfect night to be live in downtown Toronto because, as I said, I can only say it so many times, but the 6 is, I know
On
it's
the way.
raining.
Sports City.
Woo.
It was raining shots today. It was raining shots and it was raining goals.
It was so crazy running around and trying to set up, and the Raps games ending in Matthews scores.
Yeah.
And I got so hyped at the same time. It's just like, what a time to be alive. If we make a deep run, shouts to one of my boys, LT. He always talks about his dream scenario is if the Raptors and Leafs are both playing by May 2-4 weekend.
Oh, that means they're going to be both in the Eastern Conference. And then by that time, Vladdy Jr. will be called up,
Woo!
and the 6 will be hot.
Yo, I got to tell people something. So I work on a show called Tim and Sid, and they had me put together a little montage for when Vladdy gets called up.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, woo!
The big
Did
fella
you see the
can
bomb he hit out of
Yes,
the
of the
ballpark?
park.
Yeah.
Guy, I went to Buffalo to watch him. I know it's the Rep show, but I went to Buffalo to watch him. He cranked one out of the park that game too. It's Toronto. Toronto's on a wave, definitely. We got some good things cooking.
Totally true. Great game again. Of course, shout out to the people tuning in on Twitter live at Shell Alexander for each and every podcast, taking your questions and comments live. Let me read a couple questions there. Someone says, Tony Brothers, I knew there would be no calls, and I was right. Another comment about Tony Brothers, I'm glad we got the win despite Tony Brothers, and yes, Pascal was. Another comment from Twitter, Harden wouldn't get the calls on the Raps.
Well,
if Kawhi can't get calls, would Harden get calls on the Raptors?
Well, I
And that's what I'm
hope
saying.
we face Harden maybe in the finals.
Like all of a sudden in Toronto land, all of a sudden travels are called.
yeah.
Like
Every
I thought the
time
travel
Kyle
call was
gets
I
fouled,
thought the
it's
travel
not a
call was
shooting
gone
foul.
from the NBA.
Yeah, I have no idea what's a shooting foul. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I have zero idea what's a shooting foul.
I'm confused
in the NBA.
just as much as you are.
I think that's incredible. But comments, and I always say we try to keep these kind of short, but what ends up happening is there's so many people tuning in and sending their comments, and it's a blessing. And so to return that, I want to read all these comments. So someone else tunes in and says, Raps need to get more whistles. Damn, we don't get any respect from the refs. The last 3 games of free throw attempts have been lopsided. The key thing that I would say to that is that the Raps are playing through it, and they're able to make it work. And they've been able to, argue, but not go overboard, right? Like, no one's gotten a tech or anything.
Exactly.
Which other teams, I think, in the Raptors' past, that would become a detriment to them, right?
Yeah.
They would, they would get too flustered by it, and then that's when the L's would start coming.
Yeah, they start looking for calls and just play through it.
Yeah. Let's see, more comments here. Pascal is a matchup nightmare. Long, fast, athletic, becoming strong, and developing his IQ at a rapid pace.
That's gonna be
He was
something.
grabbing those
Raptor
boards.
Land. That's something everybody needs to pay attention to from this day on. Is the progression of Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, and what I
you are
noticed,
watching a star being born.
what I noticed too was, he was grabbing boards, but the boards he was grabbing, the way he was grabbing them, the length, one arm, one hand, bringing them down with 2 guys on him,
the timely
right?
boards.
I mean, I want to see Kawhi stay for a lot of reasons, but it's almost like if we only get 1 season of Pascal and Kawhi Leonard, it almost feels like the ripoff that happened with Tracy and Vince.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
what
kind
I
of
mean?
feel
Like,
the same. Yeah.
Yeah, like just having such a good duo to go out night in, night out, and just dominate.
Well, games like this tonight, I mean, he's thinking it, right? If anything,
You hope
anything.
Diaz says, don't let this distract you from the fact that DeRozan is the only other player in Spurs franchise history to average 25 and 11 in the playoffs. Yo, to be honest, cool, DeRozan. I'm happy for you, but I'm off that. I'm sorry. I can't lie. I know I've been labeled a DeRozan hater, and I apologize if that comes off as DeRozan hate, but I've been off DeRozan
How's the
for
guy
a while.
he's guarding, though? What's his points, right? Because that was the thing. We never said DeRozan couldn't score. It was the guy he was guarding could score just as much.
Oh, man. Let's see what's going on here. George said, so in the post-game interview that was on ESPN, the reporter says to Pascal, you struggled with this team in the regular season. How did you find a way to be effective as you've been through the last 3 games? Pascal says, it's the playoffs. It's time to go. That's what I want to hear.
A young
the
player
attitude
with a
you're
veteran
supposed to have.
attitude.
I love it. 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 Hey, man, what a time to be alive in the season in the city of Toronto. As someone, LTZ, my guy jumps in on Twitter and says, Leafs win, Raptors win, TFC wins, Jays up 4-1.
Wow.
What? Could this be the first? You know what? I'm not going to get too excited because leave it to the Jays to blow that 4-1 lead.
Yeah.
And I still wouldn't really care, to be honest. Like, whatever.
It's a rebuilding year, so.
We're Sports City, Toronto. Sports
I'm
City.
reading this comment, and I'm not going to lie, I'm patting myself on the back. Diaz says, I'm normally a Sheldon Alexander hater, but load management is working its magic. There's a lot of puns in there going on.
There you go,
But
yeah.
salute to you. Hey, Kawhi is ready.
He is.
Kawhi is here. Playoff Kawhi, even a sick playoff Kawhi. If you look at that stat line he put up tonight, that's like a normal DeRozan playoff line.
And now playoff Siakam.
Sorry, is that too much hate? Is that too much hate on DeRozan? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, DeMar. I'm sorry. But again, shouts to all you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
Really appreciate you guys. Shouts again to Shark
Shark
Club for
Club.
hosting us.
It's loud in here, guys. It's good.
Again, come through. Appy Hour. They take care of you. They got all the great food, all the good eats that you got here that you could want. Come through, watch the games, and have a great time because it's a great place if you love to watch sports. But Belmo, let me know where the people can find you if they want to contact you. in between these Raps games.
Absolutely. Like I always say every podcast, the YouTube community, the YouTube comments, hit me up there, me and Sheldon and Q. We always look at it. We would try to respond as much as we can. We love it. Great little community. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, Mike Bello, BELLO_6. Hit me up, guys.
Before I get to you, Q, there's a comment that just popped in, and reading it just because people pop in at different times, but someone says, did Shark Club have the Raptors game on the screens? Not only did they have the Raptors game on the screens, they played
and
the audio.
Sound.
Yes.
They had the audio up.
And got people with jerseys going crazy.
Yeah,
It felt like you're in a Raptors game.
It was a great place to watch
Yes.
the game. And also,
let's go Raptors.
Yeah, that chant was going on too.
All through the game.
The reality of the situation is, again, they read the audience of the people that were in the bar, people that booked reservations, asked them what they wanted to watch, and went with
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
very nice.
Great place to watch a game. And on other nights, hey, come out and watch the Leaf game too, because it's a great place for that too. When Austin Matthews scored, everyone erupted as well, right? So much fun.
Perfect blend.
But Q, where can the people find you? What's going on with you? Talk to me about DDS. Let the people know where they can find that stuff.
All right, DDS Caps at DDS Caps on all social media. DDSCaps.com. You can find us. You can buy our products on that. For me, you can reach me at simply_just_Q on Instagram and Twitter. At Quinton L on Facebook. DDS. I mean, our hats are still moving, so we still got some old models. We will be coming with some new stuff. Summertime's coming. As hot as the city feels
Summer
right now,
6.
summertime is not here yet. Summertime's coming. We will have some new stuff for you guys. Keep a lookout. DDSCaps.com.
Again, my name is Sheldon Alexander. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, the podcast is live after each and every Raptors game on Twitter at Shell Alexander. We also take your comments and questions on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. And of course, the podcast ends up on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and YouTube as well. If you want to watch it at your convenience the next day or whenever on this long weekend. Hope you guys are enjoying this long weekend as we are. Because
Definitely.
this long weekend got off a great start.
It's a good
Now
Friday in
Kanye's playing
Toronto.
the background.
And I'm going to say
We
something
about the
too.
party.
Like, this is a huge shout because this is a blessing to be able to do something like this with your friends.
Yeah.
This is like so much fun to be able to do a project like this and have it get to the point where people are continuing to watch, it's continuing to build, and we're getting opportunities like this to host events like this where we can come to a place like Shark Club in downtown Toronto
Definitely.
and host a podcast live.
So we have another comment here. Apparently, Kiki, bartender, makes a killer mojito. We might have to try that after the show.
Kiki, do you
All
love me?
right. We'll make that ask.
Definitely.
I'll ask for sure. But again, huge shouts. Thank you guys so much for tuning in because I'll be honest with you, I wanted to do this as fun. I never really thought it out to be like, hey, this is something that we could do. But because of you guys, the fans, the community that's building on YouTube, you guys liking and subscribing and sharing.
From all over, too.
From all over the place. Someone wrote in from Pakistan the other day,
guys.
right? Philippines.
Greece.
People all over the place.
Netherlands.
Tuning in because the Raptors run. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
We talked about it from the start of the year, right?
Yep.
The foresight to be able to say, hey, this is going to be the biggest season in Raptors franchise history. What are we going to do about it? And we created this.
Yes.
There's a lot of other entities, a lot of other things, and I'm going to stop myself because I'm tiptoeing right now. But I'll say there's a lot of opportunity that other people could have done stuff to coincide with this being the biggest season in Raptors franchise history. And I'm just blessed and thankful, and trust me, I don't take it for granted that you guys are here along for the ride for the biggest Raptors season in franchise history as they make their run to the finals. So, if you enjoyed this live show from Shark Club and it's something you want to do again, let us know. We'll set something up where we do this again and you guys come out and watch the game with us at Shark Club. And then we do the show live here with the people in the background.
We had a
Definitely.
rapid up chant going, too.
We
Definitely.
did
We
have
had a
wrap
couple
it up
buddies
chant
here.
going.
We had a
Wrap it up chant was
rapid,
going on.
rapid up chant.
So again,
Feels
if
good.
this is something that you guys want to happen again
Yes,
as
please.
fans, hey, hit up Shark Club on social media. Let them know this is something you're interested in. This is
Yep.
something you want to come watch and enjoy. Let them know. Because I had a good time.
Yes, so did I.
Did you have a good time?
I definitely had a good time.
Both our teams won. I had a
And hey, there's going to be a lot of time to do this because this is going to be a long run for the Raptors.
And the Leafs. There we go.
I'm hyped. I'm fired up. I don't even know what else to say other than I used
Yeah.
to pray for times like this
To rhyme like this.
This is the Wrap It Up on Blast Raps post-game show.
Live
As
from Shark
always,
Club.
As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.
Peace, guys. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you, Shark Club.
Thank you.
On blast.